Ever since I got my Avata with the goggles too, I've really wanted to get some O3 air units to throw in my quads. Well, I finally did it. I bought 2 of them. I got one in my fixed wing long range plane. That's what we're doing today. And the other one I'm gonna put in a custom quad frame I'm designing. So the plane I got this in is the ZOHD Dart XL 1000mm wingspan. And like I said, I do have an autopilot on there. I'm using a Maytech F405 wing flight controller. The RC link is ExpressLRS 2.4 on my Taranis X9D. The reason I went with 2.4 over 900 is mostly just because the antenna size, they're so much smaller than the 900. I didn't want to deal with that anymore. And as I mentioned before, the FPV feed will be in the goggles 2 from the O3 air unit. Wish me luck. Gonna climb a little and then throw it into loiter mode before I put my goggles on here. Loiter, should be in loiter now. Outstanding. Man, that looks beautiful. Let's see here. So first impressions, it looks a little laggy, like my frame rate's not high enough. I wonder if, I think that's in the goggles setting. I'm not gonna change it right now though. Let's throw it in a manual. So we got altitude and speed, we got link quality, we got RSSI dBm, GPS, everything looks good. Voltage looks good. I don't know why that would have changed. It was already calibrated. Home distance, yeah, that's pretty much all I need. .1. I feel like that might be, is that miles? I don't know what that is. But my God, this looks good. I'm really curious to see how this footage turns out with the Rocksteady and the 4K recording. Let's climb up here. One thing to note, I do have kind of a crappy propeller on this. I usually use just a 2-blade, like a 9 or a 10 inch, but I actually broke the last one I had. I did buy another one, so I have it with me if this one breaks, but this is actually a quad propeller, what I have right now. 3-blade quad propeller, it's a 7 inch, and it does not have enough power. It's not big enough. I need to go like maybe another inch up, like an 8 inch tri-blade or something. Because one thing about this Dart on the 4-cell, it really is kind of underpowered. Even with the lightest possible 4-cell you can throw on there, it just doesn't have a ton of power. So if you're trying to do like crazy acro or maybe like any proximity stuff, this is not really the plane for you. All right, I'm gonna throw it into cruise for a second here. And I'm just gonna see how this handles this range. This has to be, that's gotta be miles at the top, I would imagine. I prefer where it has the, like in hundreds of feet, but right before it gets to about a quarter mile. I preferred that personally. It's not really a huge deal, but it's just kind of what I'm used to. Yeah, it's kind of choppy up here. I really hope that Rocksteady evens that out. But Video Link seems to be doing just fine. So HD was degrading. What was that about? What the hell does that mean? So 1.5 miles, it seemed to do just fine. I did have that warning in there. So I should have plenty of range still. I mean, I'm not even 2 miles out yet. So 4 kilometers-ish is 2 miles, I think. And now it's lagging a little bit. Oh. Huh, weird. It actually is kind of nice that the that orange glow in the bottom, it's kind of like another visual indicator if I'm getting too crappy of video. It is kind of nice. God, this looks amazing though. I'm just not used to this with my fixed wing. It looks incredible. We're gonna try to get to 2 miles and then come home. There it is. Let's RTB. Oh, nope. Actually, I don't want to do that because that is set at 500. So we're going to do it manually. I just realized I have my RTH set to a specific altitude, which I do not want. I want it to just turn right around. I had it set like that for something else last weekend. I'm curious to see if that fan I put in there has burnt out yet because I'm overdriving it. I'm kind of worried because it does vibrate quite a bit, probably because I'm overdriving it. I was worried that might introduce some weird oscillations into the flight controller, but so far it seems reasonable. It is kind of windy out today. It said it was only going to be like 2 knots, but it's actually closer to about 10 to 15. Pretty typical, right? It's always windy. Man, this just looks incredible. This is like a whole different, it's like a whole different activity. It's not even like what I've been doing before. I love it. Absolutely love it. I wish the range was a bit better because I only got to 2 miles. It's not great. It should be able to do like 3 times that. So maybe my antenna is like in the way of, or some carbon's in the way of my antenna or something like that. That could certainly be the case. Because it seemed when I was traveling the opposite way towards home, the signal was a lot better. And that's because the antenna was closer to me. Not really obstructed by anything. Plane is trimmed pretty decent. I'm hands off in manual mode. It's just kind of not really doing anything too crazy, which is great. The wind, I think, is catching me a little bit though. Now I gotta make sure not to plant this stupid thing in the ground on landing. The opening I have to land is actually pretty tight. I have to like swoop in just past a power line over a fence and kind of in a little lane. You can see it bottom right of the screen down there. Like right there is where I have to enter through. Next thing I want to do for these fixed wings, I want to get like a little head tracking thing to put on this. I don't actually know if I can fit one in this plane because it is kind of tight and it's already in really the only spot for a camera without making it super draggy, but maybe I'll get another plane and do head tracking with that because I did do that before it wasn't head tracking though. It was just controlled by two servos that I had on these little slider switches on the left and the right of the Tyrannus. So you just slide those and it would rotate and pan up and down on the camera. It was pretty fun, honestly. It was really easy to use too. So I think I might have to get another plane. That's the thing with fixed wing, like it's one of those things you'll do once, have a lot of fun, and then mostly because of weather, like you fall out of it for a while, because it's like anytime there's a little wind, it just makes it not as enjoyable. But then all it takes is a little taste of doing it again, and you're like, oh my god, this is fucking awesome. So to the FPV community, like at least the people that watch me, which is not that many, but whatever, you guys should totally try out fixed wing. The learning curve for how to fly it, I believe, is harder. And I think that's for a couple reasons. I mean, one is the durability. You crash these things and they're pretty much toast, and you gotta do repairs for even like minor crashes. So that's one thing. And the other thing is you need to manage airspeed. You don't really care about airspeed with a quad. So I think it just, like the learning curve is just, I don't know. I think it's a little bit high, and that's why a lot of people don't get into this. Because they buy it, they go out and fly it once, and it's toast, just demolished. Which is unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. But I don't know, there's nothing quite as relaxing, at least to me, as flying around a wing like this, just cruising. Nothing crazy, just, I don't know, I just like cruising. Kind of the opposite of what I do with freestyle quads. That's my time to fly like a crackhead. This is just having fun. Also, I just discovered a channel, a guy called Shelby Vol, I don't know how you say it, but he's a wing pilot, fixed wing, and he does fixed wing freestyle videos, which sounds crazy, like that doesn't sound possible, but I caught him the other day on some other guy as a feature, and I was like, oh my god, this guy is crazy good. So check him out. His stuff is incredible. That guy he's an amazing pilot. I think it's important that people realize how difficult fixed wing can be. You can't just fly these like you can a freestyle quad. It's not gonna happen. They're so much more affected by wind. And again, with the crashing, if you mess up, it's over. Your plane is pretty much toast. So I'm going to climb a bit, and I'm going to bring it in. We still got plenty of battery left, but maybe not plenty, maybe a few minutes. I actually want to throw this battery on the charger so we can go again. I'm going to move you guys over to the approach path now. See if we can capture the landing here. And what I like to do with these autopilot quads is after I'm done flying FPV, I'll take my goggles up, I'll throw it into loiter or position hold. And yeah, take goggles off and flip into manual. Get some sunglasses on and just line of sight land it. I really don't like FPV landing. I don't know. Some people think it's easier, and it's not that I think it's hard, it's just, I don't know, it feels like I can't see my surroundings to land as well, if that makes sense. Sorry, I'm like right in the way of this, I know. Like right in the way of this, I know. It's funny because just before landing, I was talking about this exact thing. They can be kind of difficult to handle. I will say that was actually a smooth touchdown. I just had way too much airspeed and I just skidded across the ground, as you guys saw. Went right into my tripod, knocked it over, broke my phone mount. That was a pretty classic fixed wing mishap, I'd say. So I'd like to credit the fine people at ZOHD, ZOHD, or however you say it. You guys saw how hard that ran into the tripod, and because they put this plastic covering over the leading edge, there is not even a single mark on that. If that was just foam, it would be like a huge gouge in there, I guarantee it. So credit to them. Things like that are an excellent idea. That's exactly the type of stuff that we need to make these more durable and attractive to newcomers. Also, check these out. They got these skids on here, and I lined them with duct tape just to provide another wear surface, but like that's just good design. That's good design work, good solid fundamentals. That type of stuff. They're thinking ahead. They're thinking of the beginner and the user, and they're designing accordingly. Credit to them. Great job. So I got another pack in there, and what I did for this next flight is I went up a size in prop. So this is now a 9x5, still tri-blade, obviously. And because this is spinning a different direction than the prop I had on earlier, what I did was I just swapped two of these wires. I just pulled them apart. They're little bullet connectors, and plugged them into the other's socket. That's an old trick in the RC community. For any brushless motors like this, you can just swap any two wires and it'll change the motor direction. So just a little tip, keep that in mind. It's a quick and easy way to get what you need. That is way more power. Way, way, way more power. Awesome. Oh yeah. Throwing into loiter and settling in. All right. I'm curious how many amps I'm going to draw here with this larger prop. So just trying to roll to the left. That's interesting. I think that's probably because it was trimmed for the opposite rotation propeller. And so now it's just not right for what I have on it now. The propeller's going the opposite way. But oh man, the power is so nice. That's for sure. Well, let's point it out here and see how far we can get. My God, the climb rate is already just way, way better. I felt like before I was spinning at 1,000,000 RPM, but it just wasn't going anywhere. All right. A little bit higher just to get the best possible video. Drawing 10 amps though, that's a lot. I'm burning a lot of battery getting out here. gonna have to retrim this if I'm gonna stick with this propeller. Throwing it into cruise mode and heading out. Gonna keep an eye on the video link. And actually, I did notice that when I'm heading out this direction, the antenna is on the right side of the plane. So that means if I roll to the right and kind of head that way a bit, the reception should improve, I would imagine. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's already getting better. So we're cruising at about, let's say about 6 amps, I would say on average. Maybe a little bit higher, depending what it's trying to do. Let's call it 8 amps, which, you know, that's definitely higher for sure. I think I was pulling about 6 before on that 7-inch prop. So it's quite a bit more, but I mean, I get such good flight time anyways. I think the power is worth it, personally. I'm not used to having powerful stuff, you guys know. My shit is always underpowered. That's like my thing. Yeah, see, when I turn right in line with myself, that's when that video quality starts going down. It's still pretty dang good range, though. Yeah, that's amazing. I can definitely get farther on analog with still pretty good signal, but I still have an HD feed, at least from what I can tell, at a little over 2 miles away. That's pretty good. And we're already down to like 60% battery. That's crazy. That climb out with the 3-blade prop really killed it. Here, plane, I better go ahead and get down a little bit here. Do not want to mess with that. Yeah, this battery is definitely not the best. It's kind of old and I have not taken care of it at all. I originally bought it for quads, but it's only 4-cell and it was 3,000 milliamp hours, so it was way too heavy for my already heavy freestyle quads. So now I just use it for fixed wing, even though it kind of sucks. One thing about this plane, it just does not want to stall. I'm sure all of you have heard the reviews on this thing, and I've heard nothing but good things about this plane. It's phenomenal. Very gentle handling, great for cruising, long flight times, it's nice and efficient. And it just refuses to stall. So I haven't even hit the 1500 milliamp hour used, and it's already down to 3.7. That sounds, I feel like that means the battery's shot. I should definitely have more juice. I can tell a difference too between the other one that I just flew and this one just loses punch so fast. So once we drop down to 3.6, that's when I'm going to start bringing it in here. That's right at the bottom of what I like to go to. Loving the power though. I'm really glad I switched to this prop. It's so much better. Whew. That came in pretty hot. All right, you guys, well, I'm gonna wrap this one up. That was really fun. If you haven't flown fixed wing before, I really suggest you try it out. It's just like a whole nother world of FPV. It's a lot more relaxing, and I don't know, it's like therapy to me, honestly. I get up there and I just cruise around, no flying like a crackhead, just nice and relaxed. So check it out if you want. But if you like this video, if you want to see more fixed wing stuff and, you know, O3 air unit, long range, that type of thing, hit the like button down below. Feel free to leave me a comment and please subscribe if you haven't. See you in the next one.